I've just arrived here in Serbia and I hear there's an amazing bike park at the top of the mountain, so I'm going to hop in the chairlift, give you guys a load of tips on how to make your first bike park experience great. So I'm super excited. I've just been to the ticket office. I found out all the information about closing times, things like that. I've also picked up a trail map for some good reading in the chairlift. Let's go. Now when it comes to your tickets, you really want to be taking good care of this, because if you lose it, you're not going to be going on any lifts whatsoever. So a really nice hack is to stick it in your pocket on the side that the gate is going to be activated by. So every time you come to the gate, you don't need to be reaching in your pockets. You can simply lean to the machine, click it and go through hands-free. When it comes to the chairlift, it's really good to be watching all the other riders, how they mount their bikes on the actual lift itself. You don't want to be the guy struggling to try and hook your bike on, making the chairlift stop. It's not a good look. On your way up in the chairlift is your personal aerial view of the trails. This is a really good chance to take a look around you, see what lines there are, see how steep they are, see how gnarly the trails are, and see which is the most popular trail. Most popular trail is usually going to be the most easiest one, so maybe head to that one for your first run. Now you've made it to the top of the chairlift, and this is where the fun really begins. This is where all the trails starts. Now how are you going to find the start of all those trails? Well, they're all going to be signposted, so just have a good look around. All going to be graded from blue all the way up to black, so make sure you're starting on those easier trails or you could be caught out. Now I've been taking a look at the map all the way up in the chairlift, and down here just looks like a really cool trail, just getting my teeth into it. Now it's a really good idea to get your bearings straight away with the trail map. Obviously a few landmarks, like maybe like these big mountains behind us, are really good ones. Obviously going to be the lift station. If you started at the bottom, you're obviously going to be at the top, and just look if you need to be turning left or right, and all those desired trails should be in sight. And so we're going to go down to this blue trail and get into it. Okay, it's time to hit the trails, get the wheels in the dirt. This is where it gets exciting. Now it's really important to pay attention to that trail grading. At home you might be uncomfortable on red and black trails, but here the terrain's a lot steeper and the ground's a lot more gnarlier. So I suggest you maybe knock it down a level. So if you're comfortable on the red, hit the blue first. That way you're going to ensure that you're going to be on the easiest trails on the mountain. Now when it comes to jumps, even if you're a confident jumper, it's always worth really just rolling those jumps first go. Just landing on top, get an idea of how kicky those lips are. The thing is, if you try and clear these jumps first go, you could be over jumping them or coming up short, and a big crash could happen straight away. So I tend to just go chill on them, go nice and slow, get a feel for them, and then hit them with more confidence on the next run down. It's all about progressing. When it comes to a wooden feature on a run, it usually means that there's going to be some big airtime after it. It's usually going to be a jump or a drop off. Now, these things, if you hit blind on your first run, then I'm afraid you're just asking for it. You definitely need to stop, have a look at those gaps, see what's involved, whether it's a drop or you've got to step down, things like that, whether it's got a kick on it, and how much air you're going to need to get the actual desired landing. So I suggest taking the chicken run for the first go, checking it out, and then hitting it again, maybe on your second or third go. You're going to find a lot of these trails are going to have resting points. These are your chances to give your body a rest from the beating it's taking on these trails, because they can be pretty brutal. Your hands are going to hurt, your whole upper body. And it's also a chance to wait for your friends and be off the trail. The thing is, if you could stop it out on the trail, you're going to be risk of getting hit by other riders. So use these rest points to your advantage. Now you might find a load of wooden features on the bike park trail, and a lot of riders seem to shy away from this stuff, as you can see from this lower line. Now you need to ask yourself, would you hit that if that was made out of dirt? And I think you'll probably be saying yes. This is essentially a big wooden berm, not a wall ride, so don't shy away from it, hit it with confidence. Now, if you've never experienced arm pump, this is where you're gonna get it. Big, long, brutal downhill tracks can pump your arms up solid. It means you get to the bottom of the run, you're trying to lever your fingers off the bars. It really hurts in the palm of your hands. A really good tip for getting rid of arm pump is one is your bike setup and tire pressure. And another little bit is just coming down when you get a chance to relieve the pressure from your grips. Give your fingers a little wriggle, take the weight off the palm of your grips. Just try and get as much blood back into your hands as possible. A technical segment, a trail just like this, can be pretty intimidating to even the best riders. If you come across it out on your recce of the trails, I suggest sticking your bike at the side of the trail in a safe place and walking down it, having a look at the lines. If you look at it as one, it is very intimidating, so just break it down into little quarter segments. Like this is the end of section 1. I can see there's a nice line to my right. I'm going to keep going to segment 2, then to segment 3, and just looking at all those different lines, finding nice smooth transitions, keeping an eye out for any of those nasty rocks that are going to snag me up, pedal strikes, punctures, things like that. It's also worth bearing in mind about your weight position. You really want to be back on the bike, because if your front wheel goes into a big hole, it's quite easy to get fired over the handlebars. And think about your braking too. Try and be a bit more on the rear brake rather than pulling a load of front brake. Again, that can send you over the handlebars. So get that dialed, break it down into segments, and you'll be flying down stuff like this. So there you go, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video on all those first mistakes you can make on those very first runs at your bike park. Don't forget, if you are going to be sending it big on those big features, and you might want to save it towards the end of the week to make sure you're not going to be 1, breaking your bike, and 2, breaking your body. It's not a lot of fun. But if you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out how to get the most out of your e-bike at a bike park down here. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, drop some comments in the box below, and we'll see you in the next one.